Everybody, you're here again with Jerome Wright on his Jeronification channel, and here on YouTube. Okay, in this video, as you can see, this rock mass here, this sphere rock mass here, they're globally, but for the most part, this one here, I guess, is sitting on a property, on a private property there in Costa Rica, and I want to bring up some more of these because these have been identified as being that of strange artifacts. Okay, I have identified with these these objects some time ago, and I think I even mentioned them on my alien UFO site. And I think of multiple things when I actually think of this, and I'm going to show you some of the things that come to mind through my paranormal experience and encounter. But look at these balls in different size. Look at that there. I'm gonna bring up some more images here. You know, there's almost no way that one would think that these balls could come perfectly round like this. Look, almost like eggs, perfectly round. Okay, and I'm going to bring up one more to give you an idea with a man standing next to it. See that? Which is amazing because that person is standing there next to. I'm going to keep that person up there because when I see this object, instinctively, my first thought was this. The dung beetle. Creating a ball of dung. Here's another one. I'll leave this one up a little bit longer here. But look at that. Perfectly round ball of dung created by that little insect there. It's my position that our ancestors were behaving in a way that these beings were, or these insects were, and at one point or another they got the idea to create these objects in a similar way that the dung beetle actually did. And I mean, when I looked at that image, I didn't even second guess or anything. I mean, as soon as I seen this object, it was like I created it myself. I went right to that. So all I have to do now is just find the evidence of how they were created, and which I've mentioned in my other videos that I actually have. Now, these objects, first of all, I'm going to bring up another object that I believe is a spin-off of these spears. Let me bring up the largest one back up again. I believe that those spears are also linked to how these heads were created. The Olmec heads. There's one type there, and then here's another. As you can see, that they're almost round, like the sphere. And then I believe that they were carved off after the fact. Now, I don't believe that. I believe also, through my paranormal experience and encounter, that these spheres, when they were handled, and just like when these Olmec heads were carved, they weren't carved in a sense of what we would think of being hardened rock, and then you have to use special tools like the diorite and all of that. You have to use special tools, diamond cutting edge tools, to actually take and carve these images. I mean these carvings and these images onto these rocks, or to get the rock into a circular shape there. It's my position that this substance, at one point when they handled it, was in a pliable state, a softened state, meaning almost like not a clay, not a paste, but in the sense of it being able to be handled in a softened state, pliable, not as hard as everyone wants us to believe, specifically ancient aliens. Now, I'm gonna tell you how this substance was soft enough at that time, back in those ancient times, that they were able to do this and do this, and that's why you can explain all of these hundreds and hundreds of circular balls throughout, I guess, North and South America, and possibly other parts of the world, which I haven't actually checked yet. But this explains how these balls came to a complete roundness. Okay? And I'm telling you that the model for this act of how those stone balls became round like that, is our ancestors seeing this creature hard at work with his smaller body and moving that larger mass of dung, and said, hey, you know what? We can do that. Where we at here? And they said, hey, we can do that. And that's how this is done. Now, also in a glyph in Egypt, which they're calling the scarab, I believe that is also the dung beetle, because there is a similar mass around it that they want you to believe is the sun. And it's my position that this similar creature, which is in Egypt, which they are calling the scarab, is being honored as being the contributor, the idea, the concept behind building the Great Pyramids. And this is why you see that creature on statues there in Egypt, and more specifically, are usually around a ball like this here, or a ball like this between its antennae. I believe that this is what that is actually stating, that creature was the idea, was the contributor behind the concept that calls for the creation of the Great Pyramids. It was through the wisdom of how this creature behaved and maneuvered itself that calls for our ancestors to create and move masses of block like this. Now, I mean masses of stone like this, and this is dung, but masses of stone like this in a more pliable state, to when it was finally gotten to where it needed to go, in that softened state, it can be shaped almost like clay dough into the form that it would that you wanted it, and then actually it would be coming into a hardened state. I just lost my train of thought because I was going to say something important, and I lost my my train of thought with that. Now, oh gosh, I had an important point to make. Anyway, oh okay, I'm gonna keep going here because this is going to get a little bit better, people. All right. Now, so it's also my position. There was something else. The Olmec heads. That I'm almost thinking that there was something else I was supposed to be creating here. Alright, I have to let it go. If I think about it, I'll put it in the footnote. If I think about it after the fact. Alright, now. Oh. Let's bring these up. These are the building blocks there at Pumupuku. I'm going to bring these into this as well, too. That no one seems to know what is happening with them. I'm going to show proof about the spears, so don't let me forget about what's going on here at Pumupuku and with the cuts and the crafting of these blocks. Even some of those stone spheres weigh up to almost, I think they say, like up to 16 tons. Okay. And then we're here at Pumupuku, where you have these intricate cuts in these blocks, and no one seems to know how they got there. And since all ancient history of our world with regards to these type of areas have been cleverly erased, the information thereof, and the people suddenly vanished, we're stuck with guessing. Well, through my experience and encounter, I like to say paranormal experience and encounter, I become a part of this, and once I begin to think about it, the logic behind the answers all come to me as if I were there, and I cause for all of this to actually happen. Now, when I first seen this, again, the first thing that came to mind, just like in the spears where I thought of this, let's go back to this again. When I thought of these spears, I thought of our beetle and the beetle dung. Just like that. Look, as there's a human standing there beside that ball right there, there's the beetle. Oh, I bet you that this also, I feel in my mind, that this was also the inspiration behind the first wheel, the rolling of these balls. That was a way of transporting those stones at one point in time, rolling these masses, these pliable masses, to the point that where they needed to go, and then they could have been shaped into the forms that they actually wanted it to be. Okay? Now, when I see Pumupuku, this is what I say. I see this. There's Pumupuku, ancient Pumupuku, and this is modern day concrete mixing plants, where these blocks are made. So, in a sense, what I'm stating is that Pumupuku is a processing plant where these blocks are being created, like a mixing company. And look how these mixing companies stack their blocks up. Look how they're keyed to fit together, like building blocks. The same thing, the same behavior that was back then is the same behavior with the cement today. I mean, granted, this idea now today could have actually have came from here. But what I'm telling you is that the behavior that we have, what you see back then, is basically no different than what was going on back then. Here's another set of those blocks. Look how they're stacked, and this is the way that they're stored. Look at this. The difference between this stuff here does not last. And I'm going to tell you why this stuff here does. because through my paranormal experience and encounter, I know where they were getting this stuff from. Alright? And that goes for our ancient pyramids as well, too. Also, I had, thinking in Pumu. These are road barriers here. Thinking about the Pumu thing. See how through concrete forms, when concrete is being poured, how different keyways and holes and things can actually be put there, not just for holding posts, but see how it's actually squared out there. And this is all through actually having a form that these are actually done. And I'm going to bring in another one that's actually closer. It's upside down. Okay, there's other ones. Let me take this out some. There's others there. It's my position that this is how this was all done at Pumu. And I'm telling you that the same process that created those blocks at Pumu, I'm stating that the same process was here. I'm going to tell you where the materials will come from. But first I'm going to bring up one more picture and show you. This is a concrete mixing plant in my yard, in my town. I'm going to say in my yard, in my town, where these type of things are being made. Those blocks, and you can see them back there in the background there. And this is the mixing plant right here. I should have actually pulled out another one, the other picture there. I didn't. Should have. And here is where the concrete mixing trucks drive into that hole right there. And the chemistry of the concrete that's actually mixed. If you're with me here, the other half of the building is over here. I should have printed out the other picture because I did take another one. The trucks pour in there, and the mix goes up into the concrete mixing trucks, or they can make forms as they do here. And these things, different types of things like that, are being created. Okay, and here's the plant from afar. And let me bring it in so you can actually see it there. There's the processing plant there, and this is in my city there. You see that? So imagine if many moons from now, when nobody else actually is here in the evolution of mankind, well, not our mankind, but life starting all over again, and our existence is starting. Imagine them finding something like this here. And I doubt very seriously that these blocks will be around unless they're actually stored in a place that where they were, if they were covered over and somebody found them buried or something, they'd be okay. But these blocks here are nothing like the ones that are actually at Pumu and other places and parts around the world, because they got their mix right straight from the mixing factory, a natural resource which no one has actually known about until I actually discussed, because through my paranormal experience and encounter, I know where the materials came from to make that, and they show us. And I'm going to bring up one picture. I had others, but I don't know what I actually done with them. So where is this material coming from? There's a processing plant, a natural processing plant in our world, where fresh concrete is being made. Fresh concrete, well, fresh rock that is being made. And there's only one place where you can get fresh rock that is right fresh off the grill from being made, and that's from volcanic activity. And this is my position. It's my position that such locations like this were being created. These materials blocks were being created from volcanic substances, volcanic material, in its solidifying state. I'm telling you that there was a window of opportunity for there to be a pliable substance, a handable substance, extracted from that volcanic activity and put into forms to where these blocks could be made. Now tell me that that is not the most logical explanation for this that you have ever heard. Imagine a live volcano back out here. Even if there was a stream of volcanic activity, imagine our ancient ancestors had the knowledge to harvest that chemistry. It's the reason why these blocks are seemingly of a rock substance material that is withstanding of the elements. It's because this is material that is coming from a deeper place in our earth, brought up through actually thrown up to the surface through volcanic activity. And that's what these secrets is to our world's pyramid building, those spheres I just showed you, and the balls, and many other things. And these beings, our ancestors, managed to, like the dung beetle, and earlier on transporting this stuff, they managed to, like, started out rolling like little small snowballs, like we see our children doing in the yard. You know how we didn't make a snowman, people? Rolling that stuff out to where it collects upon itself and becomes a bigger mass and a bigger mass until finally it rolls right on out. And there's, in the areas that where this is actually taking place, it's also my position that there will be trails, almost like trails of roads, because the materials that stayed to the surface would almost be like creating like a material road in the directions that they use to roll these spheres. So wherever they are located in Costa Rica, I would almost bet that you would find like ancient like roads from these balls being rolled, because the material substance of them, through rolling so many down a specific path or a precise path, would create a road in itself as hardened as what this mass is. That's another point. Now, where's the proof of this? Do I have the proof? Well, I already knew that logically that everything that I stated made absolute sense, because that explains these balls, these perfectly round balls, because of the way our dung beetle actually created that perfectly round sphere. Okay, I want to bring that dung beetle back up. I want to keep hammering that point home with my dung beetle. All right. Because of the way this guy is such a machiner of doing that. Look at that. Look how he turned his butt up on that, and he pushes that. He drives that ball home. It's my position. Our ancestors teamed up, and this is how those balls was actually moved. Now, you probably say, well, Jerome, some of those balls weighed in the excess of 16 tons. Well, people, this guy here is moving what? Maybe 6-7 times his body weight, maybe even more. Now, imagine our ancestors back in the day of these spheres It would also logically be a good point to make here at this moment that our ancestors would have been on the closer evolutionary end of that of our ape ancestor. Wouldn't you would have been thinking that they had adopted the strength of our ape ancestor? Think about it. We're not just fresh out of the evolution of the monkey, but back then, I would imagine that we would actually have monkey strength because we're closer to our ape ancestor back then than we are now. So logically stated, the strength of the beings that will be moving as our ancestors would have been enormous. Enormous. Think about it. On the closer evolutionary end, that's another thing about the way these pyramids were built, the logic behind these pyramids was built, and the brute strength. Our ancestors would have had enormous strength because they were on the closer end to the strength of the creature from which we evolved. Now, I got to give you more proof. I made some very, very logical, reasonable, and acceptable points here. Okay, people? Now you're still with me, right? Now, the proof has always been there for us to see. This here is a glyph, and this glyph is two cave paintings from Tanzania, and both are estimated to be up to 29,000 years old. The one on the left is located in Itolio and depicts several disc-shaped objects. The other painting is from Colio and shows 4 entities. Okay? Now, they're stating that they're disc-like objects. I'm going to bring this in. And I'm going to bring this up. Now, this is a very, very popular image. Okay, I'm going to bring this in closer so we can see. So, this is where my paranormal experience and encounter takes me. We're talking about this picture up here. Now, these pictures are highlighted because now they want you to believe that these are disc-like objects and they're flying saucers and they're shooting stuff down to the ground. This is where our ancient alien theorist takes you with this. It can't be nothing rationalized because they can't rationalize with the common sense of this. It always has to be something dealing with supernatural or beyond this world because it keeps your head captured with nonsense. If you're not got one way, you got another way, in other words. Somebody is always trying to take you from reality because they don't want you to see the truth, people. When I looked at this picture, we're just talking about from here, people, on up, the brown section right here. Now, and I made these lines too early on, too, back some time ago. I made these lines. Now, you know what I see when I look at this image? I instinctively see and feel as if I'm actually there in this image. And you know what I see? I see the tops of volcanic mountains. Over here, over on top, this one is even browned up on top. And I see these stone spears down here, which I'm reasonably believing are similar objects to this right here. And it's showing you that these objects, there's a trail there, there's a trail over here. It's showing you that these objects these spears were taken from these volcanic caps. Now, why would, think about it, you never have heard anything like this. The harvesting of volcanic matter to create, what better material, what better lasting, what better material with longevity would be appropriate to build you a house which would almost be indestructible? To build a pyramid, to build a monument. This would be better than gold. This is new, fresh material. These people, our ancient ancestors, knew that material that came from this crater was brand new, virgin material, natural. They just had to find a way to harvest it and get it. And they did. And that was the secret behind pyramid building, monument building, and why these guys are all over the planet. They were rolling these balls from areas of volcanic activity. You with me, people? On that cave painting, that's what this is showing you. They're telling you, unexplained, they're telling you there's circular objects in the sky, wanting you to believe that's something from space and another invasion from space, because they can't explain it. Through my paranormal experience and encounter, look at this. Shows you. Here, let me give you a better explanation for you. I want to open up your mind. Since I'm in your mind, I might as well open you up all the way. Let me open your mind up all the way. Why are these mountains so high up? They're telling you that. I mean, these volcanic caps all the way up, cones all the way up. They're saying, look, through lava, through the volcano, which is distant, we're able to roll matter, volcanic matter, closer to us in the forms of these balls. We cover distance with balls of fire, which later hardens for us to create things with. We can create our deity gods. We can create pliable, we can create building blocks. The larger the ball, the more material we get here. You know, I could even imagine something happening on the way. Maybe at the time where they disappeared, maybe these balls solidified. But imagine them moving these balls down these distances. The bigger they are, they get stuck in mud or get marred down in mud, and they get stuck there and hardens and solidifies. They can't get it out. Or let's just say that it hardens anyway before they get it there, and they just have to leave it because they know there's nothing that they can do with it at that point. You know what I mean? Or as they're pushing it, it's hardened, and they say, well, you know what? We have to leave this one because this ain't gonna work. This is no good. You see what I'm saying, people? And this is how come you have these guys left behind. There's something else about them that I'm not going to share at this point, but I just wanted to take you there. So you can look at things. There's always a realistic way of looking at things, and it's just that I can bring it to you like this is because I have this platform now, and my mind, I can share with you the logical sense of things of what's on my mind, on how and people, this is not natural, to be totally honest with you. The people of the norm would not be able to think of this. You know why? Because you have to be able to first think outside of the box. After you done rejected everything else that science has to offer, that religion has. You have to really block yourself out of everything that you really come to understand and know and supposed to believe. You have to come outside of the box. And once you clear your mind of all of that, people, that's when reality sets in. And this is why I can bring you these amazing videos and have you go, wow, this guy, I mean, he's not missing. He's coming up the swing and hitting a home run every time. This is what this is all about, people. And I'm truly connected with this stuff in a way that, I mean, and I have no end. It's no telling what will be in my next video. I have no end. There are records of what actually happened and where it happened, how it happened, at what time it happened. But people, our world experts, our scholars, our scientists, are, if they don't bother to interpret it at all, the ones that do stand up, they're interpreting it in the wrong way. And then you have those that are coming in that's just actually just taking it and twisting it in a way to fashion something that is not real. I'm telling you, people, you got to get this alien crap out of your head. Now, you know, you have to know. You have to know. And this is not just with aliens, this is if anything. If it was there before, it should be here now. Point blank. If it was there before, it should be here now. People, you are of an intelligent mind. You have too many people playing on your intelligence. I've taken a position where I'm not believing none of that nonsense. Nothing of that nature. Because the common sense of part of it is right there in front of your face for you to believe. Yep. And I'm ready to face the music and answer to anything that I have to do. I don't care whether it's divine, demonic, or whatever you want to call it. I'm willing to answer to all of it. Because, I mean, I have a bone to pick anyway. You know what I mean? I have so much stuff going on in me. I'm not afraid to stand up to anything, anybody, anything living, anything dead. It doesn't matter to me. You know what I mean? I'm not worrying about anything. What I am worrying about is everything that I am going through. And I want to be able to get in touch with this thing the way that I want to be able to get it. This is me for the rest of my life. This is what I want to do. This is it. This thing came to me. I didn't come to it. It came to me about 4 years ago. And I've been steadily progressing ever since. Please see my other videos here. Okay. You can also catch me on Alien UFOs, Dreams and Experiences. And my title there is I Am an Alien or So Are You. Or you can just Google my name, Jerome Wright. Or you can watch my many videos that I have here on Jeronification. I noticed that some of my videos people steer away from and all of that. I mean, people, you need to watch all of my videos because they all are a piece to understanding what I just gave you here and in my other videos. I mean, sometimes you may miss something that is in one video and it's in another. You know what I mean? But I'm telling you that the key to everything is in my videos. And in what happened with me through my experience and encounter, which is recorded on Alien UFOs. Because it all unfolded there. And people, this thing is real. And I'm telling you right now, I don't have no end. And just for example, just cave art. Who would have been able to tell you volcanoes. I can't even get that word out right. Volcanoes. And volcanic mass controlled, taken out in a controlled way and rolled away. Objects like these. And this explains why these objects are of a different nature. The same thing with our pyramids and all. Notice that these objects, these so-called artifacts and these objects and these stones, they have a material substance that is seemingly lasts for hundreds and thousands of years. Where's that other image at? There at Pumu. Those objects, you know why? Because the material substance of this stone is not so long ago coughed up. Well, it is so long ago, but coughed up from our world. It comes from a place in our planet it comes from our. Oh, it should be here. It comes from a place on our planet. There go Pumu. I'm down there looking for it. It's there. These material substances, oh gosh, come from a place on our planet where it's newer than that of everything. Well, actually, yeah, it's newer, and everything around it is older, and everything around it is wise dying. In the back, the mountains and all of that, everything is dying around us because this is fresh out of the planet. That's my position. This stuff here is from a deeper place on the planet, and it hasn't gone through the decomposition process as all of this other stuff has yet. And that's why this stuff is seemingly lasting forever. That's what my position is. That this is younger, well, not younger, freshly created. Let's say freshly created. And that's the reason why this stuff, and you know what, now that I say that, you can pretty much tell the age of this and other things that are actually being created too, based on where they came from. Now, while I'm at this, let me tell you another thing about this too, about what's going on here, on how this can be identified and how I can be verified through myself here without really no scientific backing. Another thing about this is that in Egypt, those stone blocks, those megalithic blocks, they have material of seashells and ancient sea fossils that are in or can be found in and around the pyramid and in the blocks. It's my position that these fossils could also be taken through the process of volcanic activity and came back up, grabbed up, because we know that volcanic activity goes through water, goes through layers of water, it goes through properties of water, goes through the planet, and what happened is these properties are picked up in the volcanic mass and in some cases survive. Meaning survive in the state that they're in, and they come out. You know what I mean? Depending on how hot the volcanic mass was, or the movement of volcanic mass was, when it came into contact with these fossils, to the point of bringing them to the surface. You follow me, people? This is what I'm telling you. Through a cooling down process, these fossils could have been picked up, and this is why this explains that of what's going on with Egypt and how you have sea fossils inside of these larger blocks. Because only through volcanic activity could these properties be inside of these blocks. They say, well, sea levels were up at that point at that given time, and this is how those sea fossils are in there, are in those blocks. That's what I think they were saying. That's what they were saying, something at that point, which is a okay answer. But look at what I'm stating. I'm telling you through volcanic activity that could be pushed from miles and miles and miles and miles away. maybe across the globe in some cases. And these fossils are picked up. Fossils are not indigenous to the area. Picked up and carried along volcanic streams with water and those properties, and came up. And to finally, these people that created these blocks through a mold process, molding them, these fossils are captured in the block. Now, I don't know if they're in the block here, because I don't know if there's a study been made, because these look like they're too hard. I don't think there's no study. But the ones I know that in Egypt, they found that sea fossils are stuck to, and you can see where some of the rock chipped away, and the sea fossils are there. Ocean fossils are there. Okay, so that's another point that I made that science has never covered. All right, so I uncovered possibly in this video and answered probably, what, 7, 8, maybe 10 plausible points here. You see what I'm saying, people? There are logical answers here, and I'm not even no expert. I'm no scientist. I'm none of the above. I'm just a person that is before you in a video claiming to have a genuine paranormal experience and encounter. And I'm making more sense to you than all of the above. And it just keeps getting better and better and better. My name is Jerome Wright. If you like my video, please share it. If you don't like it, you can tell me that as well too. I can take it. I'm not a fighter. You know what I mean? If you're saying that, man, it's not, I can't buy this, fine. Leave your comment. You know what I mean? At least I know that I'm being heard, I'm being viewed, I'm being shared. If you think I'm an idiot, share that with somebody. I don't care. My point is that I just want to get to somebody I make sense. And even if it's just to one person, it's okay. You know what I mean? But somewhere along the line, things has got to change. Because everything can be explained. Not just through my paranormal experience and encounter, but through everybody's logic. Because once you get to thinking and accepting things in the way that I'm seeing them and I'm explaining them to you, you start to begin to realize your mind opens up to the truth. And with the truth becomes reality, and you start seeing things for what they truly are. And it opens up you identify with yourself. And then sooner or later what happens is that you will instinctively start knowing what this is about without actually having to watch my video. Because these doorways, people, these multidimensional thoughts, all of this stuff is inside of you. It's just blocked out of the way because they got your head looking up in here to the space for shooting stars, falling stars, for divine beings come flying in, and for spaceships. When I just gave you, I'm keeping you grounded, and look what I'm doing for you. I'm giving you something that no one has never given you. Nobody. And I got 150 plus videos here of this stuff. Come on, people. Return the favor. Get me viral here. Get me on TV. I'm working hard for you. Well, really, I'm not working hard because this is truly a gift to me, and I can do this at any given time. I can be walking and just, okay, it's time to make a video. You know what I mean? I can make a video every day. I can make a video, a couple of videos a day. You know what I mean? It's just that I just get tired sometime, and I just say, you know what? Let me just take a break and just pull away. You know what I mean? See if people miss me. I thought that I would be famous my first few months into this. That was 4 years ago. Then I said, oh, and each and everything that I find, I would say, oh, this is going to be it. I stopped saying that anymore, and all I'm doing is just making the videos, and I'm just doing my work, and said it's going to happen. I feel it's going to happen soon. You know what I mean? All right, my name is Jerome Wright. I'm out. Tired. We're going to go to bed. I should post this tonight. Maybe I'll post it tomorrow morning. But anyway, thank you for viewing my videos, and please, people, just share. That's all I ask. You know what I mean? We'll get it out there. We'll go mainstream. Trust me. Promise me. There's no other choice. Because I'm just going to keep force feeding and stuff until it gives. Thank you. bring up one more to give you an idea with a man standing next to it. See that? Which is amazing because that person is standing there next to. I'm going to keep that person up there because when I see this object, instinctively, my first thought was this. The dung beetle. Creating a ball of dung. Here's another one. I'll leave this one up a little bit longer here. But look at that. Perfectly round ball of dung created by that little insect there. It's my position that our ancestors were behaving in a way that these beings were, or these insects were, and at one point or another they got the idea to create these objects in a similar way that the dung beetle actually did. And I mean, when I looked at that image, I didn't even second guess or anything. I mean, as soon as I seen this object, it was like I created it myself. I went right to that. So all I have to do now is just find the evidence of how they were created, and which I've mentioned in my other videos that I actually have. Now, these objects, first of all, I'm going to bring up another object that I believe is a spin-off of these spears. Let me bring up the largest one back up again. I believe that those spears are also linked to how these heads were created. The Olmec heads. There's one type there, and then here's another. As you can see, that they're almost round, like the sphere. And then I believe that they were carved off after the fact. Now, I don't believe that. I believe also, through my paranormal experience and encounter, that these spheres, when they were handled, and just like when these Olmec heads were carved, they weren't carved in a sense of what we would think of being hardened rock, and then you had to use special tools like the diorite and all of that. You had to use special tools, diamond cutting edge tools, to actually take and carve these images. I mean these carvings and these images onto these rocks, or to get the rock into a circular shape there. It's my position that this substance, at one point when they handled it, was in a pliable state, a softened state, meaning almost like not a clay, not a paste, but in the sense of it being able to be handled in a softened state, pliable, not as hard as everyone wants us to believe, specifically ancient aliens. Now, I'm gonna tell you how this substance was soft enough at that time, back in those ancient times, that they were able to do this and do this, and that's why you can explain all of these hundreds and hundreds of circular balls throughout, I guess, North and South America, and possibly other parts of the world, which I haven't actually checked yet. But this explains how these balls came to a complete roundness. Okay? And I'm telling you that the model for this act of how those stone balls became round like that, is our ancestors seeing this creature hard at work with his smaller body and moving that larger mass of dung and said, hey, you know what? We can do that. Where we at here? And they said, hey, we can do that. And that's how this is done. Now, also in a glyph in Egypt, which they're calling the scarab, I believe that that is also the dung beetle, because there is a similar mass around it that they want you to believe is the sun. And it's my position that this similar creature, which is in Egypt, which they are calling the scarab, is being honored as being the contributor, the idea, the concept behind building the Great Pyramids. And this is why you see that creature on statues there in Egypt, and more specifically, are usually around a ball like this here, or a ball like this between its antennae. I believe that this is what that is actually. Everybody, you're here again with Jerome Wright on his Jeronification channel, and here on YouTube. Okay. In this video, as you can see, this rock mass here, this sphere rock mass here, they're globally, but for the most part, this one here, I guess, is sitting on a property, on a private property there in Costa Rica. And I'm going to bring up some more of these, because these have been identified as being that of strange artifacts. Okay, I have identified with these these objects some time ago, and I think I even mentioned them on my alien UFO site. And I think of multiple things when I actually think of this, and I'm going to show you some of the things that come to mind through my paranormal experience and encounter. But look at these balls in different size. Look at that there. I'm gonna bring up some more images here. You know, there's almost no way that one would think that these balls could come perfectly round like this. Look, almost like eggs, perfectly round.